Okay, so I actually decided to move us outside because it is way too nice out to be inside. It is finally feeling like spring weather, so I was like, you know what? Let's talk about this on the balcony. So I guess this is kind of like the opposite of what I've been doing for these videos, but whatever. It feels so good. All right, so I'm gonna share two personal stories that I think may feel a little vulnerable for me to share, but they were huge lessons that I had to learn, and if this could help anybody, I'm doing my job right. So basically, when it comes to our physical health and how we feel about our bodies physically, a lot of that could be affected by our mindset and how we feel about ourselves. And I'm gonna share two stories in my life about when my physical health was suffering due to my mindset and how I valued myself, how I thought about myself, and the frequency that I would sit in each day. And it wasn't like any of these things I was trying to manifest or suffer with on purpose. They just kind of happened due to circumstances I was in and the mindset that I was living in. So a long time ago, back around 2022, around that time period, right before my first spiritual awakening, I was developing, actually this started in 2020 actually, I started slowly developing this issue with having a wart problem on my hands and arms and eventually on my feet. I can't believe I'm actually talking about this on this channel because I feel like the old me would never do this. I would never want anyone to know this happened to me. But it was painful, humiliating, and it just got worse over time. And I remember it started with like one small wart on my finger, and during this time, I was definitely using a lot of self-destructive habits. My diet wasn't very good. My overall lifestyle practices were not the best. And also, I was just still trying to step into my own power. I remember during this time, I was kind of trying to shift into any identity I thought people wanted me to be. And I was very much still trying to understand myself. But during this time, I ended up in some circumstances that were not the healthiest for me in terms of relationships, environments, stuff like that. And over the course of about 3 years, one wart got huge. It was so big, I was a teacher at the time, that I had students asking me about it, which was super embarrassing. And then more started forming to the point where I had painful warts all over the bottom of both of my feet, on my elbows, on all my fingers. It was crazy. I was seeing a dermatologist at the time, and I was getting like the cryotherapy like once a week. Nothing was working, and I was having these super painful procedures often just to try to remove it. And this was not a fun time, guys. This was like something I had to deal with every single day because not only were they super noticeable, and you know, I'm someone in the public eye, like for me, that was always embarrassing. I would have to wear a Band-Aid all the time. I'd be hiding them in my content videos. And they hurt. I was in physical pain as well. Nothing was working. Now, let me tell you guys something. I ended up making some lifestyle changes, leaving certain relationships, even moving and changing locations. And within a year after that happening, they all started disappearing like magic. I did nothing. I didn't see a doctor. I love how the sun is coming out right now for confirmation that this is real. I chose me. I made a really hard choice to walk away from some very toxic situations. And I was very vulnerable and weak at that time. But when I walked away, they all just magically disappeared. I am not even kidding, guys. I did nothing. I didn't change my diet. I didn't like take a certain type of medication or vitamin or supplement. They just disappeared on their own because I made an empowering choice to walk away from something that was toxic for me. And, you know, I really think sometimes it's our nervous system, right? It's ourselves being afraid to choose ourselves, being afraid to be like, you know what, I have to put myself first, even if it hurts. I have to make this choice. I have to be strong in this moment. And I think that maybe they were there because I guess I was feeling trapped or weak. I was also focusing on them a lot. I mean, I would think about them every day, and them being there equated to me feeling ugly, undesirable, not good enough. It was like a constant reminder of those insecurities, which obviously didn't help. But my point being is our bodies and our brains and physical reality will respond based on the thoughts that we feed ourselves. So since during that time period, I was not very happy in my relationship life and also just in general in my own energy, and I felt gross every day because of these warts. That was where my energy was sitting, and when I made one empowering decision for myself, they all disappeared. My second story I want to share has to do with my physical health and nutrition and my body. Now, I'm a person that suffered off and on again with body image dysmorphia since I was a young preteen. I've been very open about this on this channel here and there. I am not going to pretend that that is not a thing that I go through still sometimes, okay? A lot of people suffer with it and not a lot of people talk about it. And even though this is always kind of like a struggle for me and something I do suffer with off and on, I will say at my lowest point, I was really devaluing myself so much where I lost my entire identity. This was towards the time period where I made that first empowering choice, but I remember I lost so much of myself and I was so codependent on the idea of relationships and validation from people and social media giving me self-worth that I became extremely sick. And I became obsessed with making sure that my body was a certain way to the point where I should have been in the hospital and I was very, very ill. And I was using really bad habits to try to maintain this certain type of way of being because I thought that was my only way that I could feel worthy. And let me tell you guys, I know that when you suffer with things like this, it's suggested to go to therapy, to seek counseling and get help and stuff like that. For my personal situation, and I'm not going to say that I'm perfect, because I know when you have these issues, they tend to always kind of be there to a degree. So it will be something that I always kind of battle off and on, especially the body image, but I was able to heal my body enough and change my routines and get back in touch with a healthy relationship with nutrition and food on my own by stepping more into my power in terms of being myself more authentically. So weirdly enough, and I've been mentioning modeling a lot in these videos, modeling actually helped me develop a better relationship with my body image, which sounds crazy, but the industry has changed a lot and all body shapes and sizes and heights and ages and everything is accepted now. And through, embracing feeling sensual and attractive and having eyes on me and stuff, it made me learn that my body is something to be worshipped. My body is something to be honored. And in just embracing that confident energy alone more often, which modeling helped me gain access to, I stopped caring so much about the old identity that I thought I had to have with my body, if that makes sense. And my diet's changed recently over the past few months. I've been experimenting with more healthier foods lately, healthy grains, leafy greens, cooking more veggies, just kind of like being gentle with myself, especially during those certain times where we feel insecure. Ladies, you know what I mean, those certain times during the month. I've learned ways to feel more gentle with myself during those time periods and just giving myself grace. And I will say that without going to therapy at all, for any of this body image or nutrition stuff, no therapy, just making choices that were bold, like pursuing modeling, kind of walking around like I love myself more, holding a more like confident posture, dressing differently, changing parts of my identity that reminded me of that old past identity, stepping into my power. That made me develop a healthier relationship with my body and get over that hump of those destructive patterns without therapy or a nutritionist or going to a program. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Like, I healed myself from these two things just based on stepping into personal power and choosing my own confidence and choosing myself. I didn't see a therapist. I didn't pay for a program. I'm not knocking down anyone who does that. If that is something you need, do it. Oh my gosh, yes, do it. But I didn't have to do it. I just chose to embody a different Kelly, and those things went away and became less of a huge control factor and part of my life. So if this helps anybody understand that shifting your mindset of your worth, who you want to be, who you see yourself as, is so freaking powerful and can actually physically heal you, I just hope it helped someone realize that, because it's true. And this was what happened for me. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, okay? I still have my days. I have my insecurities. I have my videos where I'm like, oh my God, my face doesn't look good today. I feel weird, But you just got to keep fighting those thoughts, because really at the end of the day, you are the creator of how you see yourself. So if you're viewing yourself as damaged, you're not good enough, or you have to be this certain way to be good enough, and you're obsessing over it always, you better believe that even your physical vessel is going to suffer from health issues or physical things that make that thought more true. Our thoughts and the choices we make for ourselves have so much power over how we live out our realities. Don't let anything that is holding you back or keeping you tied to a version of yourself that feels weak and does not feel in their highest power make you feel guilty for getting rid of that or walking away from something that no longer serves you if you are being hurt in the process. Don't do it. It's not worth it. And that could be hard. But listen, guys, my warts all magically went away. It was insane. Okay? I was so sick that I should have been in the hospital, and I was able to get myself to a point where I no longer am at that point just because I chose to really be like, I am the most important person. So I want you to know that you can get yourself through anything. This stuff is real. This work is real. And please know you are worthy of feeling empowered and loved and beautiful in your energy, exactly where you're at right now, okay? So I love you, whoever found this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!